A CBS News poll highlights the nation's concern about an Ebola outbreak. Nearly 7 in 10 Americans say they're at least somewhat concerned. That includes 40% who are very concerned. Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Jon LaPook is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
So looking at those who've had close contact with Duncan,
right.
I mean, and we're within this critical time for showing symptoms. I mean, what can we learn about them? Well,
it's nice to know if you do the calculation, he first got sick on the 24th, he came in on the 28th. That means it's anywhere from 11 to 15 days after possible exposure. And in this epidemic so far, symptoms, it's been about an 8 to 10 day incubation period, although of course it can be as much as 21. So it's good. Every day that we're not having symptoms in them is great.
And what about the sheriff's deputy who was brought to the hospital? He had no direct contact, but he was in the apartment.
Right, and so far we don't know the results, although I spoke to the CDC yesterday. They said that they do have an ability to test it directly in Texas. It should take only several hours. I would expect we would get that result today.
We've got about 150 people come from these West African countries to the United States. Now they're going to be screened at all these airports. How effective do you think it's going to be?
Right, well, first of all, let's just demonstrate what that screening is like. Room, surface temperature, body. You hold this about 2 to 3 inches from the person, and you're 98.1, no temperature, and that's great news.
But Duncan didn't have a temperature when he came into the country.
Exactly, Nora. So here's the thing. I think this screening may be a little more psychologically helpful, perhaps, for people than actually effective, because the incubation period's 2 to 21 days. So somebody can feel perfectly fine, like Mr. Duncan, and be incubating it and not get sick till they come here. Now, so far, 1 in 500 people who have been screened from West Africa to here have had fever. At 77 people, none of them have had Ebola. So I think on the other end, it's going to be even fewer people with fever.
All right, Jon, thank you so much.
Thanks.